industry. I'm going to roll camera, and I'm going to roll sound, and we're going to get started because I would like to honor that you guys are here on time, and thank you for that. So welcome to our 2 o'clock Hour of Power, and my name is Sarah. I'll be teaching you today, and I'll try to give you a good solid flow, and even though I'm the teacher up here in the front of the room, you all are your own best teachers. So I'll be calling poses, I'll be giving cues, I'll be guiding you, but listen to your body. Notice I didn't say listen to your brain, listen to your body. Listen to what it needs. Sometimes it might need a challenge, sometimes it might need something more subdued. But, you know, be here, use your breath, use the physicality of this, and just enjoy our next hour together. So let's start by coming into child's pose. Take your knees wide on your mat. Extend your arms long. Press your hands into the mat. And deepen your breath right away. Use that press to push your hips back toward your heels. And you might hear some noises of settling in. You might, who knows, there might be a fire drill in the middle of class. And that's okay. Just be here in your breath on your mat. Yeah, whatever sort of things you had to do to get here, you're here. So press your hands deeply into the mat as you rise your hips to your first downward dog. So you'll press your heels back and down into the mat into kind of an upside down V. And if it feels good, you can pedal out your feet. Then one knee, then the other one. Maybe swing your hips from side to side. Keep pressing your hands down into the mat as though your mat can grow longer, just by you pressing on it with your hands and your heels. Find a steady gazing point at the back of your mat. And that point, that drishti, can help you sort of maintain a mental focus and a calm mind, especially as the practice gets more intense. Slowly walk your feet forward to the front of the mat to hang in ragdoll. So you can take opposite hands to opposite elbows and just hang forward with your feet at hip width distance. Breathe even more. Let anything going on fall out of your brain. Just tumble down, release your neck. And even though we're a small class, I know we're all capable of big, expansive, joyful breathing. Press into the 4 corners of your feet. Now heel toe your feet to touch, release your hands. Slowly roll up 1 vertebra at a time, stacking your joints. Yeah, feet together unless you're protecting knees or low back injury. And then bring your hands to heart center. Close your eyes. Take a moment to set an intention or a dedication for your practice, what you want to bring in or what you want to give out. And we'll begin with 3 ohms. Inhale. Reach your fingertips to the ceiling. Exhale, fold forward, hinge at your hips. Inhale to a flat back, halfway lift. And exhale, come back to push-up position, high plank, and pause for a moment. Press your heels back toward the back of the room. Drop your hips down so they're level with your shoulders. Look up to the front of the room. Makes it a little easier than having your body take the weight of your head. Really pull in your leg muscles to your leg bones. And then lower all the way down, or chaturanga if your body's ready. Lower to the floor. Press the tops of your feet into the mat. Rise to cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Beautiful. And keep breathing. Press your chest back toward your thighs. Keep a little micro bend in your knees. And then breathe more. On your next exhale, lift your heels, bend your knees, and step forward to the front of your mat. Halfway lift to that flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Rise to stand, inhale. Forward fold, exhale with your breath. Halfway lift. Step back to chaturanga or that cobra. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Draw your shoulder blades down your spine and in. Pull your arms together energetically, rotating your creases of your elbows out toward the front of the room to find some space in your shoulders. Lift your heels, bend your knees, and come forward to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank to low. Cobra is always an option. I will cue up dog, but know that you can always take that cobra and press back to downward facing dog. Beautiful. Breathe for the person next to you, even though you might have never met her before, or maybe you've known her for years. Or him. Lift your heels, bend your knees, and come to the top of your mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Bend your knees. Press your knees together. Rise your chest toward the ceiling. Create energy by reaching for the ceiling. Beautiful. Sit a little bit lower. Press your thighs together to take the pressure off your knees. And forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga or floor. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward to your right hand for our first warrior one. Press your back heel into the mat, blade of your left foot. Knit your front ribs together. Sit a little deeper in the front leg. And chaturanga. Upward facing dog. To downward facing dog. Left side, warrior one. Step to the left hand. Press your right foot into the mat. strongly, as though you're pushing back on something, like kind of where the floor and the wall meet. I like to pretend I'm pressing the back of my foot into that space. A lot of you can lift your right hamstring toward the ceiling and create more strength in your legs. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale it out through your mouth with a sigh. Do that one more time. Inhale. Sigh it out. Exhale. Inhale, lift your heels. Bend your knees. Come to the front of your mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Chair pose. Can you sit a little deeper than you did the first time? I bet you can. Forward fold. Lift halfway. Chaturanga or floor. Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, warrior one, reach up. On your exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Left foot, warrior one. And yes, I completely just screwed that up, but y'all are with me, so that's cool. Reach. And now that we're all back together, chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing dog. Humanity's wonderful. Downward facing dog. All right, we'll do one more sun bead just like that, a little bit quicker, so get into more of a flow here. So lift your heels, bend your knees, step, walk, or float to the front of your mat. Halfway lift, forward fold, chair pose, sit even deeper, squeeze your thighs together, forward fold. Lift halfway, high to low plank, cobra or up dog, and downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward on your exhale, warrior one. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Left foot forward, warrior one. Rise, touch the ceiling, and flow, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Woohoo! That part of the sequence is called awakening, so hopefully you are all feeling sufficiently awake. Yeah, take child's pose when you need it. Like I said, you know your body. I'm just standing up here with words in a certain order. Lift your right leg to the sky mindfully to three-legged dog. Flex your foot. Point your toes down toward the ceiling so your hips are square. That was great, everybody. Now open your hip, bend your knee. And if you want, you can flip your dog or you can stay right there. Flex that lifted foot, that right foot. If you're in the flip dog, press into both legs, both feet. Come on back over to a plank, and then we'll take side plank on the right side. So you can lift your left arm up to the ceiling. You can drop a knee. You can drop onto your elbow. Wherever you are, breathe. And come back to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And rise your left foot to three-legged dog. Again, with that squared hip, flexed foot. Beautiful. And match the variation you took on your other side. You can just bend your knee and stay in this lovely flip dog. Open up the side body. You can take that flip. If you're in the flip dog, reach for the front of the room. Come back over. And we'll take side plank on our left arm. So flex your feet, even if your knee is down or your elbow's on the ground. Reach. Press your hips toward the ceiling. Press up. And chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg to three-legged dog. And this time, step it through to a crescent lunge. So you'll step almost as we did for warrior poses, but your heel will be lifted this time. Good. And play with your stance. If you feel wobbly, sometimes taking the feet wider side to side can help with that. But wherever you are, again, drop into that front leg. If you can get your thigh, kind of heading toward parallel with the mat, and reach up. I was listening to a song this morning called Lively Up Yourself. Lori heard this morning already because she's been in class with me. But I think it's just perfect. After 6 months of gray and dark, we need to lively up ourselves. And this is a great pose to do that. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart center. And then we'll take a twist to your right. So you can either hook your right elbow over your left knee, or you can simply put your hand on the mat. A block can feel really good here. If you just want to put your hand on the floor, and lift your left fingertips to the ceiling, if you're ready. Press into that left hamstring and lift it toward the ceiling. Beautiful. And open up to warrior two. That will feel good. So you'll be facing this biscuity green colored wall. Again, deep into that front knee. Back foot presses into the mat. Reach with all you have in a very warrior-esque kind of way. Gaze out over your right middle finger. And then we'll take side angle pose. So bend your right elbow to your right knee. You can reach all the way up, or you can reach your fingers toward the glass window wall. That thing's called a window. And keep breathing. I can hear some breath. I bet I can hear more breath. Press your back left foot into the mat. And exhale, chaturanga. Chaturanga never felt so good. Upward facing dog, or you can skip it and we'll meet in downward facing dog. Got two sides, and I have one side to go. Woo-hoo! So this time bring your left foot up, step it through to that crescent lunge, reach your fingertips up. Again, your right heel this time is going to be over the ball of your right foot. Press into the four corners of your left foot. Lift your right heel up, even a little bit higher. A lot of you, your heel is sort of dropping. There we go. That's beautiful. Hands to heart center and twist to the left. Here again, you can hook, or you can put your hand down on a block. Extend the crown of your head toward the ceiling. Get length in your ceiling. To the front windows to get length in your spine. Create one long line of energy from head to foot. Open your arms if you did on the first side. And exhale, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward to warrior two, which we skipped a second ago. Reach out front and back of the room. Take a look behind you and look at your back hand and see if it's in line with your shoulders. You guys look great. And now find that drishti in the front of the room. Sit a little deeper in that front leg as you bend forward for side angle pose. One more inhale. And flow. Chaturanga, up dog. Even down dog. And this time, take a deep breath in and take a lion's breath. Inhale. Let it go. One more time, stick out your tongue and breathe out. Cool. That feels good. The whole breathing thing. Okay, lift your heels. Bend your knees. Come to the front of your mat. Lift halfway. Forward fold. And chair pose. Those of you who thought we were done with chair, you're wrong. We get to do it again. Hands to heart center. And twist to your right. Elbow to knee. Keep an eye on your left knee that it doesn't pop forward. Keep everything square. Keep that steady gaze point on the front of out in front of you. And forward fold. Take your feet to hip width distance and take a hold of your big toes with your peace fingers. Draw your elbows out to either side of the room and then fold forward. Let your head drop. Maybe shake it yes and no. Anything that's going to feel good and feel like you're released here for all that great work you're doing with your legs. Heel toe your feet back to touch. Chair pose. Woo! It's fierce pose by any other name. Do you feel fierce? You feel like you feel fiercely at me right now for making you do this? I don't know. Hands to heart center, twist to the left. Again, take a look at your knees and make sure they're still in one line. And forward fold. Take your feet hip width distance again, and this time slide your hands underneath your feet. Stand on your hands for gorilla pose. Give your wrists a little massage. Thank them for all the work they're doing today. Drop your head. Remove your hands and we'll take either Balasana squat, so your feet will be wide and you'll be in a wide squat, or you can take crow pose. So if you're taking crow, your knees will come to your triceps, hands flat on the floor. Keep your hands wide to create as much surface area as possible. Engage your belly as you lift either one or both feet off the ground. And we'll meet in downward facing dog, however you want to get there. Shoot back, step back, just go straight to down dog. And lift your heels, bend your knees, come to the front of your mat. And here, just simply roll up one vertebra at a time, all the way to stand. And spread out your 10 toes. Really feel a lot of space between your toes, feel the webbing between your toes. And then take your weight, kind of shift your weight a little bit so it's in your left foot and your left hip. And then we'll take eagle pose. So your right arm will go under your left, and then your right foot will cross over your left leg. And yeah, sit. You can, if this doesn't want to, kind of wrap all the way around, you can just bring it around and tug it on the floor. But remember how it felt in your standing leg when you pushed all that weight. You had all that solid platform in the four corners of your feet, grounding into the mat. Tara, sit a little deeper. Oh, heck yeah. Rise your elbows away from your chest. And exhale, release. Eagle, other side. So left arm will go under, left leg up and over. Yeah, you can have a kickstand for your right, as your right foot. the shoulder blades onto your back. And release. Hands to the ceiling. Leave your left hand where it is, and then with your right hand, take either your knee or your big toe. And if you have the toe, you can extend it out in front of you. Then everybody open your right leg to the right, hand to the left. Remember that steady gaze point that I talked about earlier and find it here. Come back to center, extend your leg out in front of you if you had it bent, and then sweep your right leg back to airplane pose. So chest is lifted, leg is grounded. Engage the muscles of your left quadricep. See if that gives you even more stability. Press your hands down as if you had two uninflated beach balls underneath and you're trying to push them away. And come back to stand. And we'll take the other side. So take your left leg, either your big toe or your knee. Yeah, and extend it if you like. And then open to your left, hand to the right. Press into that standing leg. Come back to center. Extend your heel to the front of the room. And pendulum your leg back to airplane. Both feet to the floor. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. Dancer pose. So take your right foot with your right hand. You can grab the ankle, the inside of the foot. Draw your knees together first. So you really create kind of a center line right down the middle of your body. That's the name center line. Rise your left hand and then start to kick into your right foot. Kick your hand as if you were kicking it away from you. Reach forward with your front hand. And if you come out, you come back in. Simple. You don't have to make it more than it is, just standing on a leg. Come back to 2 feet. Gently release. And then wimble your arms to the other side. So this time your right hand will be up. You'll touch your left foot with your left hand. And lean forward. Kick your foot into your hand into your foot. Breathe even more. And release slowly. Beautiful. And the last of our balancing poses will be tree. So bring your right foot up to your either the shin or upper thigh, just anywhere except on the knee joint. So if you think you're not on your knee joint. Yeah. And press your hands together. Again, create that plumb line. And any arm variation you like, you can reach up and keep your hands where they are. You can close your eyes for an added challenge. This is my favorite pose, but I'll try not to leave you guys in it all day. Okay, other side, tree. So left foot in. You can take any arm variation. If you didn't reach up the first time, maybe try reaching up this time and see what happens. Maybe you come down, and then maybe you go back up. And release. Okay, reach up. Forward fold. Halfway lift, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward to warrior 2 pose. So open up to the greenish wall. Open up. And this time, Extend your right leg. Reach for the front of the room as if you could touch the glass. And then hinge at your right hip to come down for triangle. And a block can be really helpful here. Be inside or outside your foot, or you can even rest your hand on your shin. Again, find some energy in your top hand. Press your back foot into the mat. And as if I had a strap around your waist, come up and face this way. So all 10 toes will be facing over here. Hi. And put your hands on your hips for this first one. Press into your outer feet, the outsides of your feet. Really press those outside edges. That'll bring all this energy into your legs, all that muscle strength. And then hinge forward at your hips for a straddle forward fold. Should feel really good. Ooh. Bring your hands to a block. You can bring your hands in line with your feet. Drop your head. Slowly rise up and turn your toes back to face the front of the room. Maybe bring some of you could shorten your stance. We'll take pyramid pose. So you want about a leg's length distance between your 2 feet. And then take your hands either to your hips. Some of you might like a reverse namaste, or just holding on to your elbows, any arm bind that works. And then again, really think about that hip crease and hinging forward for pyramid. So both legs will be straight. Drop your head. Press into your back left leg. And even if you think you already are, do it a little bit more. Come up halfway, release your arm bind, and reach your left leg toward the front of the room. And then we'll twist. We'll take twisted triangles. So your left hand will go outside your right foot or inside. And then your left arm will rise to the ceiling. Seem to have misplaced the breath, so maybe somebody can find it for us and bring it back. Oh, good, you all found it. On your next exhale, vinyasa, or just meet us in downward facing dog. And smile, even though nobody can see you. Bring your left foot forward to warrior 2. Open up. Press into your right foot. Straighten your left leg. And again, reach for the front of the room first, and then take that hip crease. Pulling your hips to the back of the room. Holding your shin, a block, the floor, whatever feels good in your body. And then straighten your left leg a little bit more. There you go. Nice. Nice. On your exhale, come on up. Turn your toes to face this wall and face me. Find your hands behind your back this time. Interlace your fingers. Rise your chest to the ceiling and then straddle forward fold. With the arm bind. Feel a little bit of a rinse in your shoulders. Good way to get rid of all that computer time you probably all spend too much time doing. Engage the muscles above your knees. And come on up slowly. Turn your toes again to face the front of the room for pyramid. And you can, again, play with an arm bind that works. You can take the one you took on the first side. But again, think about the hip hinge first. And think about elongating and extending your spine. And then last thing to go is you drop your head. Pyramid. As you press into your right foot, keep just a little bit of a micro bend or even a nano bend in your knees so it doesn't hyperextend. But your right hamstring should feel really like it's working really hard right now. Make sure both legs are straight. Some of you can straighten your legs a little more. There you go. And then come up halfway, reach your right hand toward the front of the room, and set up for twisted triangle on this side. So twisting to your left. And I know twisting is the hardest place to find the breath, but it's also one of the best places to make sure you are breathing. So breathe. And chaturanga. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. And then take a big breath in here. Exhale out your mouth. And then come forward to the front of your mat on your knees for camel pose. So you might want to add a little padding if your knees are sensitive. And take your hands to your sacrum, your low back, and lift your chest, and then start to go backward. So it's not about, this isn't really a back bend so much as it is a back extend. So lengthen out through your chest, press your legs forward, and come on up. Sit back on your heels for a second and just feel that prana energy coursing through you. And then as you're ready, make your way to your belly. And that's probably going to feel really good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we'll set up for locust pose. So hands down along your sides, palms down. Pull your legs together. Really draw your inner thighs in together and point your feet. And then start to lift your chest and lift your legs into locust. And think about when we were in an airplane and you were rising your chest and reaching up and forward or in your up dog. And try to create that up dog here. Press down into your hands to lift your chest as if there's something underneath you're pressing against. And release. Turn your cheek to one side. Smile at the person next to you if you have to make eye contact. And then you can take another locust or bow pose. So with bow, you'll grab your ankles. And we're going to do two of these. So you can actually also do one side and then the other. So if you're going to take that, you start with your right leg. But again, you can take locust or bow or one-sided bow and kick into your hands and rise your chest. And if you're feeling this in your low back, it's definitely time to pull your legs more in together. Release. Wiggle your hips from side to side and get a little bit of a back release. And then one more. If you took one leg, take the other. Otherwise, yogi's choice, locust or bow, and rise up. And you thought it was hard to breathe in a twist. It's really hard to breathe here, but do your best. And release. Right, windshield wiper your legs back and forth. That can feel really awesome. It's like an inside-out kick line of yogis doing like some sort of like beautiful dance moves. It's really fun to watch you guys do that, actually. Okay. Come on onto your back, and we'll set up for bridge pose. So you will lie down, which will feel awesome. Bend your knees, bring your heels close in so that you can kind of reach out and touch them with your fingertips. And then press into your feet to lift your hips. Press into your upper arm bones and really draw your shoulder blades underneath. Press into your feet and come down. So bridge, again, if you'd like, or wheel. If you're taking wheel, hands will be up by your ears. Press up when you're ready on an exhale. And if you're in bridge, again, press down with your hands, with your feet. And release. We'll take one more. Here again, yogi's choice, bridge or wheel, and go. If you're gritting your teeth or clenching your jaw, let it go. It's not going to help you in whatever pose you're in. And come down. We'll take Supta Baddha Konasana, so soles of the feet together, knees wide. This is a great back release for all those back bends we just did. Yeah. Are the soles of your feet together? So, yeah. You might have one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. And just notice. Notice your strength. Notice your energy. Notice the simplicity of being in a room with other people, just moving your body in space. And now, because back bends aren't fun enough, we're going to do some core work. Woo! So, actually just keep your feet where they are. As they, soles of your feet together. Bring your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers, and just simply pulse up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax. Inhale, exhale. Now bring your feet straight up above you, like you could kick the ceiling tiles. Pull your belly to your spine, hands behind your head, and pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax. You can bring your knees in and kind of roll a little bit. Roll out your back. And one more set. Heels up, hands behind your head, and pulse 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, knees in. Oh, yeah, roll back and forth a little bit on your spine, massage it out. And then for just a moment or two or three, we'll come up to bow pose. So you'll be sitting up, have your knees bent, hands holding the back of your legs. When you feel stable, you can try releasing and see how that feels. Come down to low boat, just your back on the low back on the floor, everything else reaching up and forward. High boat. Low boat one more time. Squeeze your thighs together. One more time up. Did I say one more time? One more time, low. And sink your boat. Oh. Woo! Row, 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 that boat. Nice job, guys. So we'll set up for pigeon on the right side. And you can either take this recline, so you would just bring your right knee up onto your left leg and you being kind of a figure 4, and you can just take it on your back. But if you're coming up, bring your right knee to your right wrist, and then your left, back of your, top of your left foot will be on the mat. And then just release, relax down to your depth. And hip openers, you know, some people love them, some people hate them. And I would say focus less on the emotion you attach to it and more on the ways you can find release in it. Yeah, some of you have a block under your right hip. That's perfect. As you're in this pose, even though it's tempting to let gravity just take all of you and suck it down, engage your belly a little bit. Just bring your core into your spine, because that'll actually help you find some more opening in that right hip. Slowly start to come up. Come to downward facing dog, so you can release that right leg. Maybe do a few circles with your leg or with your hip. Open that hip up. And then we'll take pigeon on the left side. Same setup, knee comes to your left hand. Any props that you need. I spent about 19 years of my yoga training out of 21 just totally saying, no props for me. I am not a prop person. I can do this by myself. Like, what in the heck, right? I'm just like, what a deprivation for 19 years. And then I discovered, like, how magical props are. It's like, oh my goodness, you know? So it's like we have this expectation of ourselves that we have to do things and be things. And I don't know, for me it's a lot about self-reliance. And I don't know, sometimes we need props. And sometimes props are what we need to get us where we're going to go. Reclaim your breath, and especially breathe into that left hip. It will thank you. Come on out. Take downward dog on this side. Again, circle out your left leg. And then come forward for a little bit of double pigeon. So your right leg will be down on the bottom. Your left leg will come over your right leg. And here again is a perfect place for a block to go under your left knee. But if you can, try to bring your left ankle over your right knee so that you don't have your ankle bone digging into your thigh, which is never a good feeling. Yeah, set yourself up however feels good and how it feels accessible. And I have found in this pose, actually, I like to lean back a little bit, put my hands behind me, and press up, and I find a different space and a different release in the hip here. We'll just be here for a couple breaths. It's not an eternity. Inhale and then exhale, extend your legs long. Kind of shake them out a little bit. And then we'll take double pigeon with the left leg on the bottom, right leg on top. All good. Oh. Yeah, whichever leg you didn't do the first time. How about that? since right and left are sort of aware, just concepts. They don't mean anything. And lean forward if you want, lean back if you want. Stay where you are. All right. So as you bring your legs, release this pose, bring your right leg forward to the top right corner of your mat, and bring your left leg in like tree. So right leg forward, left leg bent. Perfect. And turn your torso so that your navel is actually pointing toward your knee and your pinky toe. So you're actually turning your torso at an angle. And then, kind of like we did in pyramid pose, reach forward, 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 forward. And when you can't go any more forward, take your hands down. And yeah, you can release your head at that point. Every time I take this stretch, I'm reminded of, did you guys ever do hurdler stretch in like gym class in middle school? This reminds me of that, and like my gym teacher in 7th grade. Every time I do this pose, which he was kind of mean, so it's not a good memory. But I like the pose now more than I did. Okay, switch sides. Left leg to the front left corner of your mat. Right leg in. And again, find that crease. And then reach, extend, 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 and then drop. Release your left foot, extend both legs out in front of you. Double leg forward fold. So flex your feet. Flex them so much that maybe your back, if you feel your back of your knees come off the ground. Keep a bend in your knees. You don't want to lock them out. Raise your hands and reach forward. Gently rise up. Bend your knees, put your feet on the floor at about hip-width distance. And then hands back behind you on your shoulders with your fingers facing toward the front of the room. And press your hips up for tabletop, which is a bit of a release after all those forward folds. Drop your head back, if that feels good. And then slowly come down. Roll onto your back. All the way down. And then either take legs up the wall, which is, putting your legs putting your lower back on a block, or take shoulder stand. So in shoulder stand, you'll lift your hips up over your chest, rise your feet toward the ceiling, press your hands into your low back, and really start to bring your elbows as much as you can underneath your body. There you go. Yeah. And now lift your toes toward the ceiling. That's beautiful. And then if you're in shoulder stand, tip your feet back toward the back of the room for plow pose. Bring your knees to either side of your ears for ear pressure pose. If you're on a block, move it to one side and slowly roll down one vertebra at a time. Really feel your spine on the mat. And take happy baby pose. So grab the sides of your feet, bend your knees, reach your heels toward the ceiling. Try to press your low back onto the mat as you press your heels toward the ceiling. Yeah, you can rock that baby, roll it side to side a little bit. Again, get a bit of a spinal massage. And then extend your legs out long in front of you. And we'll take a supine twist on the right. So bring your right knee into your right shoulder, or your right rib cage. And mindful of any props, start to twist to your left. Looking out to the right. Your hand might be extended out to the right. Release into your right kidney. Sorry, let me release the pose. Let your right kidney start to feel really heavy. Come on back. Change sides. Twist left. Slowly come out. Any less movement, squeeze your knees in if you want, or anything that's going to help you just release the practice. And then find Shavasana, final rest. Relax your arms out by your sides. Stretch out your legs. Release the breath. Release your jaw. Release that space between your eyebrows. And settle. Slowly start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Curl up onto your right side in a little ball. And then make your way to a seat as you're ready. Close your eyes, bring your hands to heart center. Take a moment to remember your intention or your dedication, and know that my intention has been to offer you guys a practice that made you feel energized, strong, and at peace. And I thank you for being here. So we'll close with one Om. Inhale. The light in me honors the light in all of you. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for being here. And if you want a double-hour Power Warriors teaching in 1 minute. So yeah, doing a reasonably quick transition, and then she'll be teaching her class. And I just can't thank you guys enough for being here. I really, really appreciate it.
Marie, I'm so sorry, I didn't know that, otherwise I'd stay for your class.
Oh, no,
No
worries at all.
If I did, I would stay.
I apologize.
Yeah.